I'm going to tell you something. There's a guy named John Pistole who just recently was running the TSA. Real venerable guy. He, before that, was with the FBI. He was an executive assistant director for counterterror and counterintelligence, and he sat before Congress in 2004. And he testified, and this is to your point about there are no Jews coming to hurt Americans. He testified about, from the period of 1980 to 1985, there were 18 terrorist attacks in the United States committed by Jews, 15 of them by members of the Jewish Defense League. The head of the Jewish Defense League was on jail awaiting trial on charges of trying to bomb a mosque in Culver City, trying to bomb Darrell Issa's office, an Arab American. What are you talking about? There have been Jewish terrorist attacks. Should we therefore ask no Jews to please apply for a visa?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw is, I'd like to call it ignorance, but Ashley Banfield of CNN, and welcome to Gimme 5, she's not ignorant. I remember her from her MSNBC days when she was in Ramallah, kvelling about her hero, Yasser Arafat. Oh, the way she presented it, she loved Yasser Arafat, the biggest killer of Jews since Adolf Hitler, and she loved Yasser Arafat. Poor Yasser Arafat. Look what these mean Israelis are doing to poor Yasser Arafat. And now she badgers Jeffrey Lord in response to Donald Trump's plan to keep our homeland safe. She goes back to the mid-'80s, and talks about the Jewish Defense League, who, from what I could gather, their plots killed 7 people. Don't get me wrong, that's 7 too many. 7 people. We had more than that killed in Paris. The Jewish Defense League didn't target Americans. They didn't target shopping malls and schools and Christmas parties. And again, I'm not defending it, I'm explaining. They targeted Soviet groups at the time, Russian groups, who were keeping the Soviet Jews from immigrating from Russia from the Soviet Union to Israel. Palestinians, who they felt were killing Israeli Jews. I'm not defending it, I'm just stating a fact. So for her to sit there and say, well, 30 years ago, the Jewish Defense League, so don't say Jews aren't terrorists. There's more to it. It's not ignorance. When you're a fan of Yasser Arafat and then you spew this hateful, anti-Jewish garbage, there's something wrong with you. Call it what it is. You know what it is. Here's more.
That there's an international Jewish conspiracy to take over the world. I mean, which
I'm telling you
radical Islam
that there have been that many terrorist attacks committed by Jews, and no one's suggesting for a minute that all Jews should be wiped out of this country from visiting. It's the same thing.
No, it is not the same thing, Ashley. The motive here is to set up a caliphate, to remake the entire world in the image of radical Islam. That's what they're
crazies.
About. And
yes,
I might add,
not the Muslims, the crazies.
Oh, first of all, it's the same thing. The Jewish Defense League 30 years ago with 7 dead is the same thing as radical Islam. And it's not the Muslims, it's the crazies. Who's crazy? You got a mirror handy, Ashley? More.
There are 1.5 or 1.6 billion Muslims, and the majority is not crazy like that. The majority is like us, everybody.
And Ashley, that's a good point, because I listen to people on your air and other places, Dr. Judy Zasser, I guess his name is, who says it's Muslims themselves that are going to have to come to grips with this problem. People like you and I, and even Donald Trump, can't solve this. This problem has to be resolved within the Muslim community. They've got to step up to the plate here.
Absolutely. She is a piece of work, and here's one more.
During the civil rights movement, there were a lot of white guys in the South, Klan members, etc. And a lot of good white guys stood up and said, we're not tolerating this. And they marched for civil rights, and they helped get the civil rights laws that were passed in the 1860s reconstructed and brought back to life. They didn't leave it to other people. They did it themselves. And the Muslim community is going to have to do this themselves.
I got to go. You're right. We are out of time, and I could talk to you all day about this because we didn't even get into Ted Kaczynski or, so many bad white guys who've done this too.
And there are so many bad white guys who have done this too, like those Jews. This is a sickness, a big sickness on the part of Ashley Banfield. Thanks for watching.